Good morning. Welcome to the WUSATA WSDA Informational webinar. My name is Julie Johnson, and I'm with the Washington State Department of Agriculture International Marketing Program. And then Lisa, I'll have you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lisa with WUSATA, the Western United States Agricultural Trade Association.
So did you want to go over a few housekeeping or?
Yes, I will go over that. So I see people are coming in right now. So just so everyone knows, we have everyone on mute. So if you have any questions, we have down at the bottom, there is a Q&A and a chat option. So you can just put your questions in there, and I will be monitoring during Julie's portion and then vice versa. And if there are questions that come up, we'll be answering them during the presentation. We're hoping to make this a more active type of presentation where we will answer as soon as we can. And then if there are questions that require a little more to it, we can email you the answers. And we will have our contact info on the last slide. So I think that's about all for our housekeeping, so I'll hand it back to Julie.
Great, thank you. So total Washington exports in 2019 were over 15 billion, and that's all exports from our ports. Aerospace is Washington's #1 export, and food and agricultural are #2. At least 40% of Washington jobs are tied to international trade. And think about this, there's 95% of our customers are outside of the US. And so market diversity is really important to increase stability. So in 2019, the Washington origin food and egg exports were $7.1 billion. 30% of all Washington food and egg products are exported. So you can see almost all of our wheat is exported. Over half of our potatoes, 30% of apples, and 25% of cherries. So the impact on our communities is really large. 31% of gross US farm income directly comes from exports. And for every dollar that is generated, for every dollar in egg exports, it generates $1.27 of economic activity. So here are our top products that were exported in 2019 and the markets that they go to, the top markets. And so our website has this information on it, and it actually will list the top 10. And so if you want to check that out, it's really interesting. So behind these top 5, the fish and seafood, frozen French fries, apples, wheat, and hay. It's dairy products, cherries, hops, beef, and pulses. So the two products that actually, where exports declined in 2019 were seafood declined 6.26% and apples at 3.78%. And our statistics come out in April, and they come from the World Trade Atlas and also our WSDA grain inspection program. So here are our top trading partners for 2019 and the products that, the top products to those markets. And then behind Mexico is Taiwan, Philippines, Hong Kong, Vietnam, and Indonesia. And you can see a lot of similarities to products, though there's a lot of seafood, our top products, as well as frozen French fries and hay. So WSDA's International Marketing Program, our mission is to help companies expand, make buyer-seller connections, deliver resources, advocate for global market access, and work with industry and their needs. Our program works with small to medium-sized Washington suppliers of Washington agricultural and food products, fresh and processed, and beverages. We also work with nursery, hay, and pet foods. 98% of exports are small businesses. We listed kind of the different components of our program. The first two are direct company assistance, and then the market access piece is worked on with industry associations. And although we have certain areas we focus on, we all kind of cross over throughout our work. So here's the export development piece, and I handle that, the export training, market identification, as well as resource referral. I really do a lot of resource referral. So I set up an initial phone call with new export companies or companies looking to change markets, and kind of go through the different, learn about their business, how long you've been in business, what are you looking to do, you have management buy-in. Oftentimes, the person I talk to is the owner, the winemaker, or they are the person who can make those decisions. I'm going to mention that we have a one-page database form, which is really key to get into our system to receive information on recruitments, trainings, seminars, our reps when they come to Washington, and so, as well as trade leads. So it's really key to get into our database because that's how we communicate. Here are export assistants, Washington-based staff. They are regionally focused as well as industry sector, and they focus on market assignments. So some of you may have worked with all or some of us. The type of work they do is technical assistance, which is handled by, again, the international trade specialists and also our overseas reps. They help with market intelligence, documentation, shipping, payments. They also do some resource referral. Trade activities are our inbound missions, outbound missions, trade shows and promotions. This type of work is done a lot in coordination with our trade association, WUSATA. We only have so many state funds that will allow us to do, our work, and most of those state funds go to salaries, benefits, and our reps. And so we really rely on them to be able to help our Washington companies. And then since COVID, I will try not to mention COVID too much, it's really shifted how we've done business and how we've had to operate. But right now, those activities are virtual, and I really think those activities are not going to be going away. I think virtual is going to be kind of part of the puzzle. And then we have buyer-seller matchmaking. So the export assistant staff will send trade leads, and that's why it's important to get into our database. We have a public site. Companies can opt into that site so that buyers can go directly to the site, or the agricultural trade offices to do their own search, and then they do buyer-supplier itineraries. So in market representation, really excited to share this slide. We've had reps in China, Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia, and those contracts ended June 30. So basically, we've been working since March through the process of, RFP and interviews, and, it's just been a really long process. And so we're now in the process of awarding contracts in China, Japan, Mexico, Southeast Asia, and Vietnam's going to be a separate contract as well, and South Korea. And we're also going to do some project-based work in Canada, South America, Middle East, and Taiwan. Here's some of the work that they do, but there are on-the-ground experts. It's a free service to Washington companies. We pay their contract fee, and their job is to help get your products to those markets. The other thing we do is bring them to Washington once a year to do one-on-one consultations. Unfortunately, because COVID and them just starting, we will be doing virtual one-on-one consultations in the spring, but it's a really good opportunity to meet face-to-face, and you know, get product feedback, as well as just ask those questions about the market that you want to ask them. This is our manager, Ryan Perry, who's located in Olympia with myself. Does, you know, the trade barrier mitigation, tracks the China tariffs, works really closely with Director Sanderson, as well as Robert Hamilton, who's the governor's trade policy advisor. So briefly, here's our market assignments in industry. You know, it lists the markets and industries. This is on our website as well. You may work with a couple of us at one time. You might, you know, say your product's cider and you want to export to South Korea. You would most likely work with Zachary Garza because one of his industries is cider, and then Rebecca Weber because she focuses on Korea. This is a busy slide, and I'm just going to focus on a couple pieces, but these are all our partners, and I'm happy to connect you with them. USDA marketing programs, WUSATA falls under that. We work very closely with them. Other WSDA programs, we work with food safety to issue export certificates, as well as our plant protection issues phyto certificates. Commodity commissions, we collaborate with them as well, but I'm really going to focus on the other, the Export Finance Assistance Center, Export Import Bank, Small Business Development Center, and SBA. These are the the organizations that I do a lot of resource referral to. And those partners are also part of this Washington Export Outreach Team, and WUSATA is part of that as well. Before COVID, we would travel around the state and give seminars, and COVID's here, we are doing webinars. Our next webinar is going to be November 4th, but it's really a way for companies to access local resources to help small businesses expand globally. The three key points are small businesses can successfully export, there's professional help at no or low cost, and there's one entry door for resource access. So you contact me, you have a finance question, I can contact you with the finance people. Small Business Development Center, they have two international people who, you know, focus on international. They offer free advising, and so that's they are usually kind of one of the first point of contact. Or I talk to a company, then it's really great to meet either with Ellie or Vern to talk about export business planning. They can do foreign market research, export readiness training, foreign market selections, market entry strategies, as well as export compliance assistance. You know, again, it's a free service. Then we have the Export Finance Assistance Center. I work really closely with Zara. She can help businesses with information on risk mitigation, how to finance and get paid, as well as she's a banking relationship matchmaker. She also receives step funds, which is really great. She's been able to put on these trainings that only would cost about $300. And because of the step grant, she's able to give these seminars for free. And she's actually held 20 seminars so far this year. So it's pretty amazing the information that's out there for companies. The SBA, again, SBA works really closely with Aqua and XM Bank. And Lee has been great to work with. Unfortunately, he's retiring in January, and so they've hired Berlin, who has some excellent finance background, and so he's on board now training, and so it should be a very smooth transition. But they can facilitate access to capital to support international trade. They work with the interests of small businesses and to reflect that in trade negotiation, as well as the U.S. government's international agenda. Import Bank. They are the official credit agency of the U.S. government. Their mission is to assist U.S. exporters and support U.S. jobs. 90% of their clients are small businesses, so no transaction is too small. They do have a couple things, criteria. A couple that I want to mention are 2 to 3 years in business, so they don't work with startups. And they also have a 51% or more U.S. content eligibility requirements. So those two things are key. The most popular product is credit insurance, which allows risk protection in the event of non-payment. It covers commercial and political risk, but it does not cover disputes. So Washington State Department of Commerce is another program, their export voucher program that I refer companies to. It's a voucher up to $6,000 with a 25% cash match. And so before COVID, companies were using it to go to trade shows, and it would cover part of their international airfare related expenses. Since COVID hit, it's being used for website localization, which there's been a lot of webinars lately talking about that and how it is to your e-commerce work. So funding can be used for that, digital advertising, shipping of samples. So they have a list as well, and I can connect you with Julie Mon, and I can send you the list as well. U.S. Commercial Services is the trade promotion arm of the U.S. Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration. They have U.S. embassies and consulates in almost 80 countries. The key is here is that they work with processed food companies, not fresh, but they have a whole key service. And so it's a fee for a service program. We're going to pay a fee to have business matchmaking done. And since COVID, they haven't offered this service because people aren't traveling. But I would imagine as things start to open up, that program will be going strong again. So I just want to mention USDA.gov is a great site for lots of information. USDA Agricultural Services Directory is there. If I don't have a contact in a country, then I will send companies to this directory so they can connect with somebody in the office. They have in-market offices to 74 countries. Game report, country market report, export advice. It's just a great resource. There's financing information as well as local resources and grant programs. So, of course, our links are important. So we've got our website, we have our public database, supplier database, which I mentioned. Be great to get you into our site. You can opt in to be into the public one. You don't have to. We have our events calendar. We have on our WUSATA website, there's an export certificate site. And we'll talk about the cost, how to request, and how long it takes to receive the certificate, as well as our staff directory. And once our contacts are in place for our reps, all their contact information will be there, and we'll be spreading the word. And so we'll be sharing the information, contacts, and we're really excited to get them up and running and working again. Other important links, trade.gov was it used to be export.gov and it's now trade.gov, but they have a lot of great resources, as well as there's a basic guide to exporting there. Local regional commissions and trade associations are really great resources, as well as national trade associations. And just know that we can help navigate through the government organization and offices. Does anybody have any questions? No?
No, not any questions.
Okay, so I'm going to, there'll be time after to answer questions, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then Lisa's going to share her screen, and I'm going to monitor the Q&A.
Okay. And I know that there was some, can you see my screen all right, Julie?
Yes, I can see it.
Great. I know that there was a little bit of technical difficulties hearing, and we'll be sending out information after this.
Oh, is that right? So,
Update a couple
too bad.
Yeah. So, but we'll be, just so everyone knows that there's contact information at the end, so you can always email us if you want specific information as well. Okay, so as mentioned at the beginning, I am Lisa with Western United States Agricultural Trade Association, or WUSATA. It's kind of a long name. So WUSATA is an independent nonprofit trade association that works with the 13 Western states, American Samoa, and the USDA to help agribusinesses export their goods overseas. Our organization's been dedicated solely to exporting for 40 years. This is our 40th year, so we're really excited about that. So what we do, we take the complications out of exporting. We receive funds from the USDA's Market Access Program, which supports overseas marketing and promotional activities by U.S. companies. WUSATA is one of several MAP cooperators, some of which include the Organic Trade Association, Cranberry Marketing Committee, Wine Institute, Washington Apple Commission. There's several of us. So we use MAP funding to support companies in the West through all stages of exporting. Our global network of partners and resources includes in-country trade representatives, agricultural trade offices, and marketing divisions of our member states, like Julie. Above all, we advocate for you with education, support, introductions, and financial assistance. So our participants, we partner with hundreds of participating companies annually with an incredibly diverse range of products, from seafood to supplements. Our top industries represented are 80% is consumer-ready products, 11% ingredients, 6% seafood, and 3% nursery. So as for the question, is my company too small to fit in with WUSATA's programs? Over 90% of our participants have 10 or fewer employees. So WUSATA has specifically designed its programs to work for smaller businesses. If there's anywhere in the world you're looking to get, we can help. We have a broad network of domestic and international partners and resources to enhance and complement our programs and services, such as the SBA and the USDA agricultural trade offices. Julie went over several that we work with. So the top 5 markets reached by WUSATA participating companies in 2018 were Korea, Canada, the Middle East, Europe, and then Southeast Asia. Additional 2019 program facts in last year, we had 41 WUSATA facilitated trade activities, 500 participating U.S. exporters, over 16,000 buyer to seller introductions, and $585 million in U.S. export sales. And we gathered this information from our survey collection, which we do right after the activity, or an activity that's held 6 months after the activity, and then one of our programs, FunMatch, we do an end of the year survey. And we'll go over FunMatch a little bit later. So with these 3 programs, you can use the combinations, however works best for your company. Our programs are extensive, and our staff is available to help you identify areas where you might benefit from participating in one or more of the programs at the same time. Sometimes we'll get calls and somebody's just using Global Connect, when really they could use FunMatch as well. So it just takes a call to us and we can help you know which programs work best for your company. So our organization is based off of 3 pillars. The first one is our export education. So this is where you're learning about exporting. Export education helps companies learn about the benefits of exporting and how to gain access to valuable market research and consumer insights through webinars and seminars. Our export education provides webinars like the one you're at today, as well as in-depth market reports. One of the great resources we provide is market intelligence from a database called EuroMonitor International. EuroMonitor reports are based on the company's HS codes or your product focus, and we pull reports based off those HS codes. And then we're able to see the best markets for your company to export to. Our website has a growing research library that houses practical tips, fun short videos, and more. There's even a know as you go checklist to help you navigate international trade shows and activities, which I know we're not necessarily participating in. There's a few international trade shows that are starting up, but there's still some good resources that we have. A lot of this is accessible through your My WUSATA account. Our second pillar is our Global Connect pillar. Global Connect provides opportunities to explore export markets and expand global distribution through trade shows, trade missions, and more. Our Global Connect program provides a range of trade activities at low or no cost or discounted rates, depending on the activity. These activities are designed to connect U.S. suppliers with foreign buyers, coordinated with project managers like Julie, from our member states, and are designed for multiple companies to participate at once. Under the Global Connect program, our top activities are international trade shows and inbound and outbound trade missions. All you need to do is register and participate. We do the legwork in researching and planning the trade activities that target markets all around the world, and you have the added benefit of working directly with project managers from our member states. If you're headquartered in WUSATA's region, which you are, you can participate in any of the activities in the Western United States, even if it's outside of your home state. So you just would go onto our website and you can see all of our activities, and you would register for the ones that you are interested in. So these are some of the trade shows that we typically attend. Most are annual, biannual. The trade shows or Global Connect program will generally purchase anywhere from 10 to 40 trade show booths within a larger U.S. pavilion, which you can see in this picture. It says U.S. on the top, and then there's the booths within that pavilion. Companies who purchase a booth space through us usually get a better registration rate and more perks, free interpreters on the show floor, and coordinated one-on-one meetings with foreign buyers. Many of our trade shows sell out quickly. If this is an area of interest to you, don't delay in signing up. Our website offers secure online payment, so you can reserve your spot at any time. Outbound trade missions, well, inbound and outbound trade missions. For the outbound ones, WUSATA coordinates activities for U.S. suppliers to travel abroad and meet one-on-one with pre-qualified international buyers, distributors, wholesalers, and government officials. At the same time, companies learn about the foreign region, which might include retail market and food service tours, receptions with government officials, and in-country market intelligence. Participant fees for outbound trade missions are often only $250 to participate, plus travel expenses. So then on the flip side, we have our inbound trade missions. And WUSATA coordinates for international buyers to travel to the U.S., usually within our region, the 13 states, to meet one-on-one with program participants. Inbound missions can also include facility tours and special events designed to enhance the buyer to supplier relationship. These missions are very cost effective, as you can meet with buyers right in your own backyard, and they're often free. Companies just pay for their own travel arrangements. So that would be the picture to the right, where you're meeting one-on-one with a buyer. Right now, with our virtual reality, virtual life that we're doing right now, we've started doing these via Zoom, which has been a great option. Just recently, Washington and Hawaii partnered to do a virtual inbound mission, or virtual mission, where the buyers were able to sit down with the in front of them and meet with the buyers, and it ended up being a really great opportunity for buyers and suppliers to meet. So our online events calendar allows you to search for events by region, type, and date. The events in the calendar also include events offered by key partners. Registration only takes a few minutes, and you can pay instantly with our secure online payment portal. You can also favorite an event by clicking the star, and you'll receive notifications of important information and registration openings. So now that you have your WUSATA account, you are able to start registering at this point. Another part of our Global Connect program is our trade leads. Trade leads are time-sensitive requests from foreign buyers seeking to source specific products from U.S. suppliers. When a request comes in from a buyer, WUSATA pre-screens the buyer, and the request for authenticity then sends the trade lead out via email to those companies with matching products on their online profile. So we're looking for matching HS codes on your profile versus what the buyer is looking for. On your dashboard within your My WUSATA account, you'll have a trade button. And once you receive a trade lead, you'll have an orange notification above that button. Trades are free, available to companies who have an account, which everyone on this webinar does. But basically, we're virtual matchmaking you to a buyer. So this has been a really great resource for our companies. So our third pillar is our FunMatch program. FunMatch assists qualifying U.S. companies in competing in international markets by providing 50% cost reimbursement for eligible marketing and promotional activities. Companies participating in our FunMatch program enjoyed a 95-to-1 return on investment in 2019. And we had 245 companies participating for that year. This year has been a little lower with the pandemic because just the situation, but we're already seeing several companies signing up for next year. So we're really excited to see people really jumping on the new wave of more virtual marketing, and we're seeing a lot of response to that. Program participants can take on many different forms. They must, however, meet the criteria. Be Western US based, so headquartered in one of WUSATA's member states. They must be a small company according to SBA guidelines, which is 500 employees or less, depending on classification. Included in this number are employees of parent companies, subsidiaries, and similarly related organizations. They also need to be legally licensed, independently owned, and operating for at least 12 months. And they also must meet all product and packaging requirements, which are here. To meet program eligibility requirements, the products you're promoting must meet the 50% U.S. origin rule. Products must be processed but not grown in the U.S. are not eligible. Your products need to be agriculture based, which means they are farmed, fished, or forested. Your company must have brand ownership, meaning the brand is owned by you or you have sole agency agreement with the brand owner. In that event of an agency relationship, a certificate of exclusivity form must be signed by the brand owner for each FunMatch product and filed with WUSATA's office. And then your product also must be clearly marked as a product of the USA. This one's super important. It's the #1 reason for denied claims. It just needs to have that US origin label on it. So does it qualify? Products need to contain at least 50% US grown ingredients by weight, excluding water and packaging. This means the products need to be farmed, fished, and or forested in the United States. Minerals, salt, and other additives can't be used to meet the 50% requirement. So take note, to calculate the US content of each product, please use the US origin calculation sheet form. It's on our website under the important forms section. You'll be asked to provide this during the application process when you're ready to mail in the important documentation for applying for FunMatch. So just a little clarification there. Now that you have your WUSATA account, you are eligible to do the Export Education and Global Connect, but FunMatch does require another application. So that's where we're saying that you will want to go to the important forms section on our website and print out this US content form, because that will be part of your application for FunMatch. As for the US origin statement, examples of phrasing here are some examples. Note that the origin statement cannot be contained within the brand name, as in New Mexico Walnut Company. As a program to promote the export of US goods, all product labels, promotional material, and advertising needs to have an eligible printed US origin statement. All the activities and materials eligible for reimbursement in the FunMatch program are required to clearly promote your brand name and US origin statement. These promotional activities must take place in a foreign market. Also, any state or territory in the United States must be spelled out in or other US regional designation if approved in advance by FAS. State abbreviations are not accepted because a US state abbreviation can often be mistaken as a foreign country. So for example, CA can be interpreted as Canada, even though we know it as California. So just looking at this form, you can do product of the US, product of America, grown in the United States, grown in America. There are several options. And I would recommend contacting our FunMatch team, which I can connect you with, to make sure that your origin statement is approved before you go ahead and print that on all of your products if you're planning on using FunMatch. So how much can you request? For a first-year applicant, if you're new to exporting, you can request $2,500 to $25,000. That means that you are doing $5,000 to $50,000 in international marketing, so then you would receive 50% back. If you're an experienced exporter, you can request $2,500 to $50,000. And that's just, we're just trying to get your first year, just get your feet wet, you know, get you feeling good about the program. After the first year, you can request $2,500 to $300,000 in FunMatch funds. So this slide contains a partial list of reimbursable expenses. The FunMatch guide has in-depth details about what's covered and what's not. It includes visual charts and bright, easy to read pages to make it easy to differentiate between eligible and ineligible. And the next slide actually has an example of that. One thing to note, as mentioned a little bit earlier, we're seeing an influx of socially distant activities, such as sending samples to buyers, online ads, or even website localization updates. These oftentimes can be reimbursable with FunMatch, but before heading down those avenues, I would highly recommend reading our FunMatch guide and scheduling a time to speak with someone from our FunMatch team. For example, I actually just heard our FunMatch team talking to a company about the website localization, and there were several stipulations that they needed to stay within. So if they hadn't called in to ask, they may have gone ahead with the project and not been eligible for reimbursement. So before going down that road, please call in and we can help you with that. So some of our reimbursable expenses: approved domestic trade shows, your website, advertising, that one's big right now, you know, doing a bulk billboard in another country or a radio ad, promotional giveaways, pre-approved international trade missions, label and packaging modifications. That includes making changes to your packaging and labels to meet a foreign country's requirements. And then advertising. We're seeing a big influx in social media advertising right now, which is, again, it's very exciting to see how people are adapting during this pandemic. So as a taxpayer-funded program, WUSATA's FunMatch program follows a detailed set of federal regulations. WUSATA also has defined policies to protect you in the program's viability. The FunMatch Guide is an up-to-date, exhaustive resource that outlines these regulations and policies in clear and user-friendly language. If you go to our website and click on the FunMatch program details, you'll find links to download the most up-to-date guide. We actually have 2 on there right now because you technically can still apply for our 2020 program year. We're getting kind of down to the wire right now, but if you have activities that you're planning, say in December, you could still apply at this point for reimbursement. So we still have the 2020 guide online, but most companies are applying for the 2021 program. So we have both guides up right now. So you can see on this screen, one side will have eligible expenses and the other will have ineligible. And this is based off of a lot of questions that we've had come in. And so it's a long guide, it's about 80 pages, but it's very clear what sections there are. So you can go about halfway through and you'll start seeing the eligible and ineligible expenses. And the pages are clearly marked. You know, this is for website development. This is for social media marketing. So then you can go through, find the page that you need, and then go from there. And also, before I move on, I want to make sure to mention that we do, the only markets not eligible for FunMatch program at this time are the federally prohibited countries, which are the Crimea region of Ukraine, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, and Syria, and then also U.S. territories and the outlying areas, which would include American Samoa, Federated States of Micronesia, Guam, Midway Islands, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So just keeping those in mind. Along with our guide, so you'll see that we have the eligible, ineligible expense on one page, and then the next page will have the claims documentation. So you know exactly what you're going to need to submit when you do one of those activities. So that has been really helpful for our companies to just plan ahead. They know, if I'm going to do this activity, I'm going to need proof of payment. So make sure to get that instead of backtracking to get that information. We also offer educational videos on our website to help you succeed in our program. I know when I first started at WUSATA, those videos actually were really helpful for me to understand it all. They're about long and they're really, really helpful. You also can find example claims on our website under our FunMatch tab. You will just select one of those activities and download the example claim. And it's just really nice to be able to see the paperwork that's going to be required, what you'll need to submit. So the FunMatch process. After submitting a complete application via online and then mailing in the applicable documentation from the checklist you'll receive, this is how the cycle goes. You'll receive an allocation notice and sign the contract and pay a 6% admin fee. So after we process your application and approve it, you'll receive an allocation notice, which is how much money you are asking to receive in reimbursement. You'll receive the notice via email for review. After receiving approval on the allocation notice, you'll then receive the online contract on your dashboard under the FunMatch program tile to submit and sign, along with an invoice for a 6% non-refundable administrative fee. The fee is based on the approved allocation amount. So for example, if you're approved for $25,000, the administration fee is $1,500. We recommend that you request on the conservative side when you apply. It's important to be as accurate as possible of your activities coming up, but after contracting, you can amend your application to add a new product or market for additional funding. So you'll submit the activities that you are planning on completing for the next year. But say it's July and you have a new activity coming up that you want to complete, but it wasn't included in your initial plan. You can always add that in and we can amend your allocation so that you can still receive reimbursement for that. So after that, you'll conduct your eligible promotional activities. As the activities are completed, make sure to compile the required documentation and submit your claims for reimbursement via mail. Please refer to the activities within the guide for the checklist of documentation needed for a claim. After that, you will submit claims in mail for eligible promotional activities no later than 90 days after the activity has ended. For activities conducted in December, you'll submit claims by the end of February. Then you'll complete and submit a survey. We require an end-of-year survey that's completed online. This is a key tool for us, and it helps us track your success and identify areas of improvement and plan for next year's program. And the information is kept confidential. Don't worry, we're not sharing, you know, confidential information. And you have to opt for us to post it on our website or post on social media. So they're used for government officials to see how our program is being run. So the allocation and contract is valid for 1 program year. You will follow this application process and fee schedule for each program year you wish to participate. So tips for success. To maximize the benefits of the FunMatch program, we suggest following these tips. First, read and refer to the FunMatch program guide often. We make updates as needed, so we encourage you to bookmark it online and save it as a favorite. I know I go to it all the time, and I'm not even a FunMatch participant. Schedule time to discuss your marketing plans with the FunMatch coordinator. Contact WUSATA directly if you have any questions. Our contact information is on our website and at the end of this presentation. And then we also encourage you to involve your importers and distributors. We can reimburse them directly for eligible promotional activities that they conduct on your behalf. So we recommend using this as a negotiating tool. Maybe they cover half of the expenses, you cover half, but really you know WUSATA is going to cover your half. So it's a really great negotiating tool. So I want to end with a success story. Part of my position at WUSATA is gathering success stories, so I love telling the success of our companies. And before I even start, I love to tell people that this story is a great story, but it is not an exception. I see all of the success stories, and it's so interesting to see how everyone can be really successful if they put the time and effort in. They can receive a lot of help and do really well. So this company is based out of Bellevue. This is Pacific Valley Foods. They've been participating in WUSATA's program since 2012. The company utilized all 3 program tracks. In 2019, they used FunMatch to attend the Abasura trade show in Mexico. I'm sure I said that wrong. Mexico's been a difficult market for them to break into due to high competition. By investing in key trade shows, such as that one in Mexico, they have established and grown relationships with buyers and increased brand recognition. Their sales in Mexico over the past 4 years have grown from 0 to 3 million in 2019. They also recently won the Small Business Administration's 2020 Pacific Northwest Region Exporter of the Year Award. So that was really great. And then they said, when we asked them about their success, they said, creating company and brand awareness for small companies like ourselves can be difficult against the big corporations who already rely on their name. This was said from Susan Hanna, Senior Vice President. Having the assistance of FunMatch makes a huge difference in helping us to stand out. We found that a lot of buyers recognize our name since we've been around for 40 years. So they trust the companies that are with us. So we've been able to really help companies in that way as well. So that's what I have. Thank you so much for attending. Here's contact information for Julie and I. If you have any questions, we can definitely get back to you. Are there any questions in the meantime, Julie?
No questions.
No questions? Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. This has been really great. And do you have any final words, Julie?
I don't. Just thanks for attending. Know that you can reach out to Lisa or I, and we can get you connected, with the resources you need. So we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. And everyone have a great day.
Thank you.